Today I wanted to share with you a celebration that I am going through right now, this week and today. And that celebration is being able and allowing myself to live alcohol-free lifestyle over the past year. It's been an amazing journey, and this journey hasn't just started last year. Last year was yet another time that I decided that I wanted to live alcohol-free. And this is not because I had alcohol issues. My heavy drinking is way in the past. Over the last 10 years, my alcohol drinking has reduced very significantly, to the point that it was not uncommon for me to have a month or 6 weeks or even 2 months living without alcohol. But what shifted last year was the way that I started living and what I wanted to create, shifting out of the challenges that we all experience in the pandemic. I wanted to embrace the new decade of my life in a different way. So in less than 4 weeks, the first week of October, I will be celebrating being 50 years old. Hey, yay! Huge achievement, living to 50. And I knew that I knew in my body, I just felt it on a visceral level that I wanted to live alcohol-free as I shift into being 50. And so I wanted to do an experiment. I wanted to see how difficult it would be for me to do that. And set my intention at the end of summer, at the end of August last year, to really give it a proper go. And I started with a 30-day experiment, and I went into going into 90 days. And once that passed, I decided that I wanted definitely to continue. And so many things happened over the last year. So many things that confirmed further that I wanted to continue living alcohol-free. And I wanted to share some of those with you, because I think there are many women that I see who are embracing living alcohol-free. And the alcohol-free lifestyle is much more acceptable these days. And especially as a woman going through a peri-menopause, and then, in the future going through the full menopause, I think this is something really important for us to discuss. The impact of alcohol is huge on our physiology, on our mental health, on health, well-being levels, on our money and financial stability sometimes, or quite often, on the decisions that we make, on our identity and how we see ourselves, and the choices that we make, the opportunities that we are open to and that we embrace. And so few things. The first thing really that really came up for me was this understanding of and embracing fully, in the way that I live, this understanding of the systems thinking. This is something not new for me. I learned about systems thinking in my early 20s. And then when I was working in social care for many years, I embraced it fully, and it always stayed with me. The systems thinking and really understanding of how everything exists in those systems that are interlinked, that work together, where one thing within the systems changing just one thing will impact the whole of the system, and it will also impact other systems. I mean, the simplest way of thinking about this is thinking about yourself as one big system that consists loads of different systems. I talk often about this because it really makes so much sense to me, and it helps me understand the world in a better way. You are one big system. There is your lymphatic system, your digestive system, your hormonal system. There are so many different systems within the whole system that you are. And also you as a person, you exist within the system of your immediate family, extended family, your community, your country, and the world, the earth, the world itself, but also within the universe. We are part of this huge system of life that is organic, forever changing, forever shifting. And so really embracing the systems thinking in the context of living alcohol-free life, already knowing about this, already living with it, I knew that alcohol was impacting negatively my well-being. I knew that it was definitely impacting my sleep. I knew that it was definitely impacting my energy levels, my focus. I knew that it was making my perimenopausal symptoms worse, especially this kind of link with the sleep and anxiety. I knew that I didn't want to continue in this way. I knew that I wanted to shift it, and I wanted to treat it as an experiment to see how much I could learn about it and about the connection between alcohol and well-being and mental health and perimenopause and menopause, and how much it would also allow me to shift things within my business as a business owner, as a trainer, as a coach and mentor. I hold a lot of, the full responsibility within my business, and I'm also responsible for supporting other people, whether it is my clients and other practitioners and mentoring and coaching sessions, or whether it is holding space in group sessions when I am delivering training, group training or mentoring in trauma-informed somatic trainings. So for me, that was really, really important. I wanted to take a step up. I wanted to work in a different way, and I wanted to really see what would be possible. So one of the things that I wanted to say is that I didn't have physical addiction. And I know the difference. I've worked, initially, I started working in social care almost 25 years ago in dual diagnosis, so substance misuse and mental health. And I've worked during that time, I've worked for 6 years in a crisis detox center. I know, I've worked with clients who had a long-term chronic addiction problems. I know what physical addiction is, and that's not what I had. As I said, my drinking been very, very low, and it's primarily I would drink on Friday evening, sometimes on Saturdays, to relax and unwind after a busy week of work, to kind of relax my mind and had a couple of drinks. But then I would notice impact the following day. The following day on Saturday morning, instead of feeling rested, I would feel still as tired as I was the day before, wouldn't have had any good quality of sleep, and I would be feeling groggy and sometimes really ratty. So really understanding, it's very important to understand the difference, that if you have got an addiction, chronic alcohol or substance use, you need to approach it differently. Alcohol is one of the substances, alcohol and benzos are the two substances that if you have got physical addiction and you stop it, you could actually go into severe withdrawal symptoms, causing epileptic attacks and fits, and all sorts of different things. So it would have to be monitored by professionals, and really you would need support around that, and you would need possibly cut down before you would take the next step of really stopping. So for me, one of the things that I noticed was that after 30 days of being alcohol free, I didn't notice much impact on the physical and mental level, because I didn't have withdrawal symptoms, because my drinking was so, as I said, it was common for me to go for a few weeks without alcohol. I didn't notice that much difference. And I remember my mind saying, like, around week 5 or 6, saying, well, there isn't any difference. So what's the point? It's like, I'm not feeling much different here. And it was a challenge to stay with it, because I didn't see that much difference so quickly. But as I stayed with it and shifted into the 3rd month, I started noticing quite a lot of impact. And that impact was the quality of my sleep. And that impact was around my anxiety levels. I remember I walk my dog, Oscar, every morning, early in the morning. That's our walk. We go out around 7 in the morning. I absolutely love it. It's our time being in nature and connecting and allowing the mind to just be in the space of nature. And I remember walking with Oscar, and suddenly I thought, well, actually, I haven't been feeling anxious. I feel very, very stable. I feel very connected. I feel really, really solid. I feel really present. And that was a really nice thing to really recognize, that I am in this different space, and I have been in this different space for maybe a couple of weeks now. And that felt really great. That felt like a huge achievement. So for me, 30 days didn't make that much difference. And I know that many people go for a 30 days experiment, or dry January, or sober October, and that kind of stuff. But for me, the learning in here is that if you drink not that regularly, and your drinking is quite low, it's gonna take more than 30 days for you to see that impact. It's more like 90 days. Within 90 days, it's much more likely that you will notice the impact on the quality of your sleep, as I did, the impact on maybe anxiety or depression, which I noticed, and the impact on my focus. I started noticing how I was able to bring much more focus to my days, much more focus in my business, and how other little habits started falling into place. So rather than having, for example, a couple of drinks on Friday evening, I would start, we would, for example, me and my partner and Oscar, we would go for a longer walk on a Friday, and we would have some nice food, and we would come back and relax. And then on Saturday morning, I would wake up feeling more refreshed and ready to meet the day and do stuff around the house. And when I'm delivering trainings these days on Saturday mornings, I would feel really refreshed, and the same on Sunday. And so when Monday comes, I feel really, really refreshed. I feel much more present, much more focused, and much more able to follow on my plan around my business. So as a consequence of it, my business has shifted a lot. I created, in addition to running trauma-informed yoga and embodied resilience teacher training that I've been doing for the last 3.5 years, I created also 160-hour trauma-informed somatic teacher and coach certification training, and really stepping up into something that I wanted to do and raising the impact and raising the quality of the service that I provide, something that I really wanted to do. And I believe I was able to do it because of the impact within the system of me choosing to be alcohol free. One other thing that really made a huge, another aspect of life that I noticed a huge impact was in my relationships, and being able to be more rested because of better quality of sleep and reducing the impact of the symptoms of peri-menopause, taking better care of myself, having more time to really connect with myself. I have got a very strong daily morning practice, which was great, but I added also and I've had it for many, many years, but I also added a self-care practices at the end of my day, and really understanding that part of why I've been so tired was because I was pushing through still, and I was overworking, and I was not finishing at the time where I still had energy for the evening. I was kind of pushing it through. So really changing my schedule and allowing myself to finish earlier and being more productive during the day, focusing on the right kind of things in my business, meant that I'm not as tired. I'm actually much more present. And the other stuff, it's like you can see in the skin and the energy levels, and going for much longer walks, all of that kind of stuff that comes with it is really great. But also within the relationships, because I'm so much more rested, I've been able to connect with my partner more. I noticed the change in our relationship. I noticed the changes in other close relationships that I have with my friends. Definitely noticed the different dynamics in my relationship with my parents when I went visiting. There is this much more sense of being grounded and present and knowing what's important and not getting caught up so much in this, I'm tired, I can't cope with it, I don't want to do it, that kind of stuff. And so what I noticed over the last year is that the change happened very much on my identity level. I don't see, for me, it's very clear in my mind, I want to stay alcohol free. That's personal choice. I know other women and men who chose to live alcohol free for a period of time, and now they drink in moderation. For me, what's important is I want to stay alcohol free all the time, not because I can't drink and one is too many, thousand is never enough kind of way of thinking, but really simply because I want to give myself permission to be healthy, to be connected, to do what feels right in alignment with my values. And I know other people have got different values. I know that we can all choose how we want to live our lives. I know that I don't want to be in my 50s, 60s, or 70s still drinking alcohol and popping lots of pills because I need to counteract the impact of that drinking on my blood pressure, or my digestive impact, or my hormonal levels, all of that kind of stuff. This is a conscious choice that I am making, and I'm also acknowledging that other people might make different decisions around that. One last thing, that I think is really important, that I found really beneficial, and that is the power of community. And right from the beginning, I signed up for some challenges, for 28 or 30-day challenge, and then I was in following, listening to a lot of videos and podcasts, and I was reading a lot of books. And then later I was part of a lovely small community of other women who are choosing to go alcohol free. And that thing was very important for me, because around me there are people that are drinking within my family, people who approach it in a different way. I needed to hear from other women, in particular women who have chosen this way of living, and the challenges that they come across, and what helped, and all the great stuff that they were doing as they were choosing living alcohol free. For me, that is a really important part. I think the community is a vital piece that quite often is missing, and a community that is inspiring, and that you will connect with, and you feel inspired, and you feel the energy is quite high. And I'm not talking about toxic positivity, like, oh yeah, everything is great, and I've got no problems, and I've got no anxiety, and I sleep really great, and I've got no perimenopause symptoms, and life is peachy, love and light, all of that kind of stuff. For me, what's important is being around other women who understand how I'm feeling about things, who allow me space to express that, who can hold a safe space for me when I'm struggling, and who I can relate to. I feel part of. I don't feel so alone in my struggle of doing something. I don't feel like there is something wrong with me because I have off days, and maybe I'm thinking even about alcohol, or I am struggling and questioning it all. These are normal experiences. You will always have them. And part of the growth and healing is to really accept it and have tools, inner resources, tools, practices, and that community that you can lean into to support you on the days that are not that great, that you might be struggling, that you might be questioning things, that you might be doubting it, you might be feeling. I know I had, days when I was feeling like, what's the point? And might as well. And this is what tripped me in the past, by the way. I used to, when I was having periods of not drinking alcohol, and then thinking, oh, well, my partner is drinking, and it's nice to have a drink on a Friday and connect with him, and everybody's drinking anyway, can't get away from it. It's always in your face, and what's the point? And all of that kind of stuff that your mind can tell you, that certainly my mind was telling me, and that I believed and reacted to. So choosing alcohol-free lifestyle can be a challenge. It can really bring up all your doubts. It can bring up all the challenges. It can show you where you are not paying attention in your life, what needs sorting out, what needs fixing. It also can show you where in your life maybe you don't have that much impact. Maybe you can't change no matter what you do, like certain relationship. No matter what I do, I'm not going to be able to change that person. I'm not going to be able to change their beliefs. I'm not going to be able to change the dynamic fully within the relationship. I can only take part from my own side, that will impact the dynamic of the relationship, but I cannot do it 100%. And so it can bring up, and it has certainly brought up for me, sadness and grief and loss, really questioning things. But one of the things that I know for sure is living alcohol free for me. It's been a really, really positive experience, really worth it. And I want to continue with it, to see what's possible, with my health, to see what's possible as I age, as I go into my 50s, to see what's possible within my business as I create the Golden Mandala Yoga Summer Institute, as I grow it with the trainings, as we accredit it, as we create the community of female practitioners working in this way and supporting each other, to really see what's possible in this one and only life that I have. And what can I heal? What can I give space to? How can I share it with others and make positive impact? So I hope you found what I was talking about inspiring. I'd like to invite you to explore for yourself what you'd like to do and how you can do it. When it comes down to creating habits, it really takes a long time to create those habits, positive habits. And one of the best way is to approach it from the level of identity, rather than focusing on the outcomes and the goals, or just simply focusing on the processes and systems, is to really step it up and go to the identity level and think about who you want to become. Who is this person that you want to become, and how do they live, and what decisions do they make? So for me, it wasn't just stopping alcohol. I had to pay much more attention to my schedule during the week, so I didn't overwork. I had to plan ahead. I had to make sure that I was cooking meals, especially on Fridays. We cook majority of our meals, but especially on Fridays, to have some nice food that would feel like a treat. I had to find a way of connecting with others in, having during parties and family dinners, and being around people who are still drinking alcohol, and having ways of saying no, thank you, without offending anybody, or without, showing like I'm better than they are. So there were so many ways that I learned, and so many positive benefits. And I'd like to encourage you and invite you to try it out for yourself, not for 30 days, but for a minimum of 90 days, to see the impact of this one decision, this one choice that you make, how it impacts you as a one big system with lots of different systems, and how it impacts every single system you live within. Thank you so much for listening. Take care for now.